Guys, welcome back to the Physique Factory podcast. And a bit of a different setup today. We're actually all here together for once, rather than being fucking miles apart.
I know, it feels weird. It's going to be hard to take these guys serious when they're actually in the room and actually have a conversation. But yeah, this one's going out on YouTube. So if you're watching on YouTube, we do have a podcast that usually gets put onto like Spotify and iTunes.
Spotify.
It's on Spotify and iTunes, yeah. We're not sure where it goes. It goes
We've not
somewhere.
done one for a
Big
while,
time.
have we?
Big time.
Yeah, that's usually how people start these things. They're like, oh, we've not done one of these for a while, but we haven't done one for a while.
Yeah.
So, yeah. What was the last one? Were you on the last one?
No, Nick was on the last
No,
one.
Nick was on the last one.
That was episode 69, yeah. We had to get a special guest for that one, didn't we? What did we talk about?
I don't know. Probably just fucking Nick ranting.
Yeah, Nick
Definitely Nick
ranting,
ranting.
But so we are down here in Manchester with James in his kitchen / dining room, and we're just going to have a chat about some stuff, aren't we? We're just going to do another episode of the podcast and see what comes up. So we've had a few kind of ideas we want to talk about today. I want to start off by talking about some of the current industry trends, some of the things that we're seeing a lot of people doing, and you know whether they're right, wrong, or what we think about them. I just want to start with the flip flops in the gym, or fucking or whatever, sliders.
That's big sliders. Only on leg day because it's easy to take them off and
easy
then
to
do
take
it
them off.
barefoot. It is. There's a time and a place, and it is leg day.
The time is never, and the place is.
The time was this morning at 10:30 on the fucking hack squat.
3 hours late. By the
Walking
way.
in the middle of a fucking Bury to get a Starbucks and a pair of flip flops. No.
Yeah, I mean the worst thing is he wasn't even wearing socks. I thought that was a bit weird.
No, I was wearing I was wearing socks.
That would be a definite no.
No,
Like,
imagine that bare feet in the gym.
Big
Beef
fucking-
up foot.
people would do that.
Big cleaver toe.
Oh, knick-knack toes. You don't want those.
I'm not a big fan of it personally though. Like I feel like it's something that like some bodybuilders have done, and a lot of people have just been like, "Oh, look at me! I'll just wear my sliders in the gym." I mean, yeah, if your feet smell, it's probably not. a good
There's
idea.
one guy that does it in the gym that I work out on. Nah, just no. Fuck off.
It depends what sliders
You deserve
they
to
are.
get a fucking weight drop on your toe for that. shit.
Does he wear Crocs by any chance?
No, he doesn't. There is a
That's
few people that wear
worse.
Crocs.
Yeah, Crocs.
That's
yeah,
fucking
like,
right. Let's change the subject from me to fucking Crocs.
so wait, they're on it.
Yeah, right. Well, we're on it. So, yeah, Crocs. They're fucking not.
I get what you're saying though, that it is easy, like slide them on and off, but I mean I wear the Vivo barefoot shoes and again people...
Well, the Vivo barefoot shoes.
Exactly, yeah. I'm actually better than you, James.
Well, I've got a pair of Vibrams somewhere.
But again, like that's giving you the same thing that being barefoot is. Like, 'cause you take your shoes off when you're doing your sets, and yeah. I never even noticed you doing that, to be honest. But I was just too outraged. I couldn't even look at you. That's embarrassed to be
socks.
looking at you.
I don't take the socks off because that's too far.
Yes.
And
that
plus,
would be
you
fun.
don't want your fucking feet on a cold metal leg
Yeah.
press or anything here. So
Yeah, I'd get if someone was maybe training in their own gym that no one else really trains at.
Yeah, if you're on your own, like in your own house.
you're gonna
Yeah.
get some sort of fucking what's it called, like a wart or something. Like that.
A what?
A Veruca.
Yeah.
A fucking Veruca.
Bazooka.
Start playing fucking barukas about the gym. Yeah, that's probably not the best idea. But I would say, yeah, the Crocs, like, and the sliders. I get it, but at the same time, it's a crime against fashion. And I'm not the most
It
fashionable guy.
depends what they are, because mine are fresh. They're the fucking Nike Air sliders.
They're fucking
They're not made of fucking. They're not made of plastic. They're actually fucking. They got an air bubble in the back of them, and see what I mean.
Mine's are Adidas four stripes.
They're absolutely wild, to be fair. Like, I've got a pair of sliders. Mine are just pure black, wee Nike tick on them. I think I've had them since fucking 2008 or something.
Since
They're
Vietnam,
old school.
since back in that.
They are old school.
I
Aye.
didn't know they made them then.
Aye. I think it might have been the first pair ever released.
Gem one.
They were only bought because of football. You had to, like, if you didn't wear your sliders in the shower, you got fined for going in barefoot. Just spread the
Farukas, there you go. A real
Yeah.
issue in the football
so you had
world.
to buy a
apparently.
pair to then obviously go and take showers, and then if you didn't take a shower, you got fined as well. So there was a lose-lose situation, really, wasn't it?
If you don't take a shower, you get fined. So, like, football teams are actually having this problem where people aren't showering.
I've been in a few teams where, like, some of the boys, even after training and that, will come in and they'll just grab their gear, they've been rolling a bit in the mud and they jump in their motor, and it's like, mate, fuck off. No,
it's covered in
come
shit.
on, fuck. You gotta have a shower.
Well, there was a thing about me going on social media about
I wasn't going to mention
Yes.
I actually had 2 showers that day as well.
Get PTSD.
I went to extra effort. The man's actually got a shower over there in his kitchen.
To be fair,
Do you know
you
what-
could fit in that as a bath.
Do you know what I was going to do as well? I was going to document myself getting in the shower every day. Just put up the story. Day one, having a shower.
James, 5 a.m. cold shower. That's exactly
5
what it is.
a.m.
I mean, currently,
James having a shower. 5 p.m. James still in the show.
That would be pure content there.
I'm going to go back to what I was saying and bring up my barefoots again. And if you've got a pair of shoes like that, you don't necessarily need sliders.
Yeah, I've got a pair of them as well, but I just don't wear them. I just, it's easy because I can't be asked.
Just can't be arsed.
Just can't be arsed.
Can't be arsed tying his laces, apparently.
Yeah, exactly. That's the one.
Yeah, I don't know.
Velcro trainers.
Oh no, that's too far. They're for retards.
You wear a pair of sliders to the gym, but Velcro's taking it too far.
Yeah, I'll probably upset a few people. Fuck you. Own it.
Well, that's it. But it is a bit of a trend. It is something that's happening in there. Because I can almost envision it now. I've got the sliders, right, with the high socks, with the shorts, the Gasp shorts maybe, and then a big oversized t-shirt as well that's far too big. And that's just like the bodybuilder now, isn't it?
You could be. You could be like
the ultra flex.
What about fucking Nick Broomhead with those shorts?
Like, we didn't want to name anyone and shame anyone.
No, he deserves it because he's been on the podcast so many times. He would be asked about talking.
They did look like his missus' shorts, to be fair.
He probably was.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that's just the way I view Nick. That's the way I always see Nick. I think I've seen him wear trousers once.
Yeah, probably the same.
Same night.
It's the same night, probably the same time.
But no, that's his style. That's it. And again, with the sliders, if you wear them, that's your style, then you've just got terrible style. That's just you. So yeah, that's that. But we did have another couple of trends to talk about as well. And one that's been annoying you, isn't there?
Oh yeah, as soon as a certain bodybuilder does something in the industry, then everyone decides to copy it, even though there's no real reason behind it. Banded push downs. They actually do it on a fucking cable stack. So they go to a DAP, you've got the pull-up bar in the middle, and they get a big band and they start doing the extensions with a fucking heavy band or whatever. When there's literally two cables either side, where.
So what would be the potential benefits of that? What is the bodybuilder in question doing this for? Do you know? Has it got a reason for it?
I don't know the reason because I've just seen it because I saw one person do it, the first person. Now everyone's deciding to fucking do it. But the bands, it's going to get heavier at the bottom as we are extended, even though the band might be getting close to your elbow, where technically it might drop off. But it's going to get heavier because the bands.
Yeah, the resistance.
Yeah, the resistance from the band, where you could just be using something like a cable.
I mean, I'm trying to stand up for them and say, well, what would be a reason to do this? Most people that are doing it are probably just copying people. Yeah, that's the thing.
Exactly.
Blindly copying someone, maybe not the best idea. Even if they are big, even just because they're bigger doesn't necessarily mean what they're doing is going to work.
Fair play if he wants to do it, and that's cool. It's just a copy, and I don't get.
Yeah. Well, copying for no reason. If you see that and you're like, actually, this could fit into my workout really well because of this. Yeah. And I'm thinking it's obviously going to be a lot of short and range bias there. So and then if you're going to tire in the shortened position first, so maybe it's my first tricep exercise. Actually, that's not a bad shout.
Or you could have an argument with that where say you're going to potentially grow the most in the mid length ranges, so you could prioritise those ranges first.
Yeah.
So there's all that sort of shit you could get into.
Yeah, I do like trying to target the shortened range first though, because I do feel like it drops off so quick, and I can still get a lot out of the lengthened position by having fatigued the shortened position first. So it's getting a bit confusing.
There's pros and cons of each thing, isn't there? That's why it's just trial and error, go through it and then see what works the best.
I can sort of maybe understand it slightly. Like you say, where the band is at its hardest to push, you're at your strongest. So I can sort of get that. Whereas with a cable, you can almost sometimes offset that as well. It depends. It's going to sometimes be the same all the way through.
Yeah.
So if he is getting to a point where we're here and he's really not getting much of a challenge in that short position, maybe the band is just kicking in enough for him just to suit his strength profile.
Yeah, but there's going to be nothing at the top.
There's nothing at the top whatsoever. So it'd be pointless even going back here unless he's still depends how
going
far
forward.
There's
tension in the band, and then
you're then also going to need stability at the back. You're going to need something pushing back on you, otherwise you're just going to be pulled back and forward.
It's a question I've heard quite often when it comes to normal tricep push downs with a cable. Is where should I stand relevant to it? And again, I'm like, well, it depends, doesn't it? Because where you stand, how you lean into that, where the cable is,
where's the position of your upper arm?
Yeah, it can totally change.
To be fair, if I'm getting anything that's having me going to any sort of shoulder flexion, with my hand up here and the cable pulling back with. I want a bit of support behind me.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
yeah.
I feel like I'm just going to go back and forward. Now, whether that's just parking your arse on the pole, leaning forward into that, you've got something to brace against, which is going to give you more out of that movement, I think. Well, for me anyway.
So going back to this whole banded pushdown thing, is there any reason to do that?
Yeah, what is the
over
reason
tricep
for
pushdown?
it?
I think if you want to get a short range bias, you can do that by cable anyway if you set yourself up correctly. But potentially that. But other than that, like again, it's like people talk about this thing of like old school, and it's like overcomplicating it, and like maybe in a sense what I've just talked about, short and range bias and things like that. Like maybe that is complicating it. So what's wrong with a tricep pushdown with a cable?
Nothing.
Nah.
That's it.
The other thing with that is, and sometimes I look at this as well, is most people who bring out new stuff in the industry are usually people who are already jacked.
Yeah.
And you've got to look at that as well and think, you did not get jacked doing that fucking exercise. However, somebody who isn't and is maybe aspiring to be a bit bigger is going to look at that person and think, fuck, I'm going to follow this guy, he knows what he's talking about. So maybe there is a little bit of that in it as well, that they know that this isn't doing anything other than a cable, but this is something new that nobody's seen. Is more and more people going to see that and follow me, which is going to push me forward.
Yeah. True, and they might not even intend to do
No,
that as
yeah.
well. Like, because the person in question, I'm just going to say JP because he's not going to fucking listen to this, is he? I noticed on his post he does actually.
I'm actually wearing his ring.
Yeah, exactly.
So I do like the guy. He's fucking sick.
He writes about why he's doing things a lot of the time, doesn't he? Though, in the comments or in the caption or whatever. But he
Maybe
can't.
we should drop him a DM and ask him.
I mean, he can't decide if everyone reads that either. That's the thing. Like people will look at what someone does without the context behind it and just do it. And does that mean it's right for you? Absolutely not. And you guys are about to get it with clients, because I get it with clients like, oh, I've seen this exercise online. It's usually a glute exercise. It's usually a female that's like, I've seen this glute exercise, or a guy that's seen this fucking chest exercise or something. Oh yeah.
It usually starts with, I was on TikTok.
I was on TikTok, yeah, and you're like,
The
right.
worst place.
Let me stop you.
Right, yeah, that'll do.
Worse than Instagram.
It is. I mean, there's some. I seen something the other day, and I'm trying to remember what it was, but there's some ridiculous stuff on there that you're just like, why would you bother? Oh, there's someone on the what you call it, the Smith machine doing a Bulgarian split squat with a band around the wrestling leg, and I was just like, what? Why are you doing that? Oh, it's to stop me trying to use that leg, and I was like, what? Like you're not.
You sort of want to use it.
Balanced stability.
So it's like,
even then, with a band around it, like you're.
But one of those
Don't wanna
bands where
do
we're
it.
doing like clamshells or whatever you call it. It's one of those
Yeah,
bands.
So there's
like,
a band with your
it's like
both legs.
it's like clamping the leg shut, if that makes sense.
Oh, I've seen
That's
it.
like,
Yeah, I have actually seen that on Instagram.
Yeah, you've done it, haven't you?
That's where that was me on Instagram and TikTok. So
That's where I've seen
that's where it came from.
With his sliders on.
I really did.
Sponsored by Pepsi and Coca-Cola.
But anyway, moving on to a different subject. What's the difference between Pepsi Max and
But
Coke
this
Zero?
one's a lime, so.
Right, imagine it was just Pepsi.
Pepsi's better, but this was the only option I had at the time.
To be fair, Pepsi is better.
This is the
Pepsi
this has
pisses
totally
off,
changed
yeah.
the trajectory of this kind of set. But I'm going to say Coke Zero out of a can
No.
is better, and it's not as sweet as Pepsi. Pepsi's maybe a bit too sweet. This lime one's very nice, but like on the hierarchy, you've got Coke Zero out of a can here, and then you've got maybe like Pepsi Max lime, and then you've maybe got like cherry, then normal
Cherry's
Pepsi Max.
top of the tree for me.
Let's keep this simple, right?
7-Up
This
brings it to
is
the top.
a banded tricep push down.
That's it. There you go.
There you go.
That's because there's a
This
bottle,
is a
not a
cable
can.
tricep push down. That can stay.
And it brings it back in relates.
No, listen, Pepsi out of a bottle is fine,
Just Pepsi out everything.
but Coke Zero.
No,
Pepsi on draft.
Pepsi on draft. I would rather Pepsi on draft than Coke Zero on draft, but Coke Zero out of can every time.
Nah.
Cold, nice cold can, just
No.
crack it open.
Pepsi Max. Or Aldi's Own. Aldi's Own's not bad. I like
Aldi's Own.
Aldi's
Get out of
Oh,
here.
nah, fucking
Yeah,
hell,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
it.
yeah.
And that's where the conversation ends.
Exactly.
You on about you were fucking all over that before. The
Yeah.
orange one, the fruit
But
twist
it
one.
wasn't Coca-Cola. I wouldn't too
No,
much
they're
about
good.
Aldi's.
Fruit twist one.
The fruit
Yeah.
twist one is good.
That is
Give
good.
you
I'm
that.
glad we agree here.
The fruit twist one is good.
So
Very
tricep push downs with a band, yay or nay? What was
I'd
saying?
say yeah, because I can't see the reason for doing it. You're over anything else. You've got things like even dumbbells, dumbbells, cables, like that.
You like any kickback?
Yeah,
Do your extensions?
I've not done one of those in years. I'm not saying it's a shit exercise. I've just not done one.
I don't think I've really done one ever, sorry, but
Yeah.
like the band's given lockdown vibes. It's like you were doing that in the lockdown when you're.
Aye,
Yeah,
100%.
what you
So,
do in
doing
lockdown.
that in lockdown. And did you get any bigger from it? Probably not.
Definitely not.
Depends on the type of band.
Yeah, probably not.
The green one or the black one, you're sorted.
I think
how much gain taking?
Yeah,
that
there's that as well.
I think that's a good point though, to be fair. Like, if you're at home and that's all you've got, then
Better than
100%
nothing.
you're going to have to use it.
Yeah,
But if you're in a gym, you've got a cable
But as
stack.
James says, people are setting this up on the
Yeah.
fucking pulley.
Between
yeah,
the
fucking, yeah, between the cables. It's like, what the fuck was 2 cables? Yeah. So yeah. Anyway, moving on from that. Next, we have
Toes in the leg press.
toes and leg press.
Trying to remember what the last one was.
That's a big fucking trend at the moment.
I mean,
So,
I usually put my toes in the leg press.
I hope everyone puts the toes in the leg press.
Yeah.
If you have toes,
Put
definitely.
my hands on it.
That's where you went wrong. Okay, that's why your fucking knees are. So toes on the leg press, meaning that heels are hanging off the bottom of the plate, and it's just literally half the foot, isn't it, on the actual foot plate itself. I can see why for doing it, because it's going to allow a little bit more range at the ankle, but get a bit more knee flexion. But I wouldn't say it's always a good idea, and not everyone should be doing that. And again, it's just one of those things. If some big bodybuilder on social media does that, and then someone sees it who it might not be suitable for, can cause issues.
Well, injury, it's quite a hard one to control,
Yeah.
especially if you're just using your toes.
Imagine your foot slips off as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, no, it's a
And
risky one,
even
that.
then, like, you could argue that does your feet have to be off the side of it? Could you not be in the middle? I mean, but most people, when they're new at the gym anyway, when they come down, their heels sort of come up off anyway slightly.
Yeah.
So they're still getting that little bit, maybe not as much, but you see it quite a lot
So
with people.
you said at the beginning, you're like, it's giving you that bit more range, but is it giving you that bit more range, or is it that like your heel's lifting and you're just not as aware
I
of it?
think it depends on the
I
person.
think you go in for that.
Depends
Yeah,
on
it
the
depends
structure.
how much, your structure, how much range you've
I
actually
think
got.
if I'd done it, like I'm not going to get any more range of motion because the lower your feet go down in the leg press, actually the more like dorsiflexion you're going to require anyway. In most cases, depends on the angle of that leg press. So actually, by being further down, it's going to require more that you've maybe not got, but like at the ankle. But then you're maybe going to get a little bit more at the knee, and then it's going to, obviously. I'm just thinking about it as I go through it. I've never done it.
No, I'm just trying to visualise somebody doing it,
Yeah.
and I would imagine, like, if I was to do that, I would get to a point where my hips would want to tilt a little bit more.
Yeah, I've done it, and it fucked my knee up. It did not feel comfortable.
James
on
has
my knee.
tried and failed.
Exactly. I thought I'd give
You
it a
should try
try.
that. You're funny.
Yeah, big help it.
I saw. I think it originated from Joe Bennett. He did it in one of the videos for like targeting more quads.
Right, yeah.
And it's not a bad idea. Again, it's just who it's like suitable for.
So I would put in a bracket maybe with something like a sissy squat, for example. It's
Yeah.
like, it's maybe not something you want to overload and go super heavy on, but see maybe at like the end of a workout
Yeah.
to like blast them and give them a quick
Yeah.
going over. If you feel
High rep range
control,
at the end,
yeah,
just
high
to
rep
bust
range,
yourself, just
not
to
a
give
lot of
yourself a
weight.
little-
Yeah, that could work. I could get behind that, but like doing it as your main kind of working set.
Yeah, when you're loading something up.
Yeah, probably a
'Cause
recipe
You
for
can't
disaster.
load it up as much as what you would do anyway, just because of the stability of it.
Yeah,
Like,
but that's the problem. Like less foot on it, you're gonna have less
Exactly,
stability,
yeah.
less force production. So yeah, that's doesn't make a lot of sense. But there will be outliers out there. There's going to be people that are doing this and they've got great quads, and it's probably not why the quads are great.
It's sort of like the Tom Platz hack squat, isn't it?
Yeah, of course,
Literally
yeah.
like that.
Aye, that's just a more old school version of it. But he had some pretty mad ideas. Like,
Did you work for him? Fucking hell.
yeah, they work for him. And again, like when it comes to something like that, you will get these people whose like joints can tolerate it, and they can do that, and maybe they built up over time as well, and they'll be fine. But you also get Tom, Dick, and Harry to try it and actually end up with a
Gav.
fuck knee. Get
Ah,
Gav.
I can't even
Yeah.
fucking kneel down right now, my knee cripples.
Gav has fucked his meniscus up.
Well, we think it's
Suspected.
Suspected. I do need to go and get that checked. However, all the fucking
Not just that,
things
he needs a
are
few other
pointing-
checks.
Yeah, a couple other checks going on.
VAR check.
Yeah.
That's what we should do in the gym whenever we see someone doing some of these exercises. On review.
Gav goes to the bottom.
We're going to spend half
Red
an hour
card.
checking it. Though. Spend half an hour checking it.
That's
Yeah,
insane.
true. But yeah, some of these things do need a VAR
Yeah.
check. To be fair, it's a fair way to review it. But
That's fucking brilliant.
That's pretty much your fucking coaching, isn't it?
yeah,
That's what you do, exercise and that's your VR check.
just not in that same
That's what it
spell.
fucking costs so much.
But yeah, I think going back to this one, it's like, and go back to the Tom Platt stuff too. Like for him, yeah, that works, but you can't take a sample size of one and say, oh, that's brilliant. That's the way we should do it. So
To be fair, you can't really take a sample size of even if you were to say out of 10 to 20 people, really,
Yeah.
because like those 10 to 20 people, not that it fucking probably would be the case, might all have similar type of builds and structures and stuff like that, but you'll have the other person who fucking doesn't. You try to put them into that, and all of a sudden, like, my knees feel like they're going to fucking burst.
They pop out.
Yeah.
Yes, you don't want that. I think the first thing you need to do before doing anything like that is just check the ranges that are available to you. So you don't have any of those issues, and if your knees can tolerate, if your knees a little bit fucked up, I wouldn't do any of those fucking toe presses on a leg press. So take that straight out of the your thought process.
And if you are going to do it, right, start small. Try and
don't load the fucker up straight away.
Yeah, because it is going to be. I suppose more extreme ranges always come with more extreme consequences. That's probably quite a good way to put it. Like there is like a higher risk when you go to the extremes of range of motion, especially if you're going to exceed your range of motion. And like I suppose it's quite a nice way to actually start talking about that, because like you're talking about all that and that's great, like, you know, checking your ranges, but like, you know, put me 5 years ago listening to this, I'm like, check my ranges, what the fuck's he on about? Like, you know, what do they mean? So like when it comes to range of motion, like how would you describe range of motion?
I think
because full range of motion is another industry.
Yeah, don't even look at the exercise now. First thing of all, you need to like look at the range that is available to you. At your, like what joints are working this exercise. So you've got your hip, knee, ankle, potentially toes as well.
Yeah.
Because they go into.
I've never really checked my toe range of motion before I do a leg press. To be fair.
There's a lot of extension in your
I've got
toes.
arthritis in my toes, so my range isn't that
Maybe
great.
it's not the best for you either, but yeah. So you go into a lot of extension at your toes when you go into dart. There's a certain amount of dorsiflexion.
Yeah.
And after that's going to come from your toes, because your toes are literally on a foot plate. So you're checking those four things, how much range you've actually got in each one of them individually, and then seeing if that suits that exercise and the ranges that goes through.
The way I often describe it to clients is like, you know, you're talking about obviously the joint ranges of motion and that. So if we look at the exercise and we look at the leg press, for example, if it had its way with you, what would it do with you? So, and can you get there naturally?
Yeah.
And if you can't, then you probably don't want to go there. I don't want to say that either. I don't want to say you don't want to go there under.
Because I think it's the case. I think it's like you can have someone who's got a range of motion without any sort of force being pushed back against them or resistance. But sometimes you might have people who, like you're saying, can't control that in the full range. So do you actually want them to go full range, or do you want them to work between a certain range within that? Because, like you say, they don't have the skill to be able. If I was to say stop, just stop at that point.
Yeah. You get that a lot of clients.
It's those length and ranges, same with the bottom of leg press, that's got anything like
when
that.
When it gets hard, people just want to be like, fuck.
Yeah.
And then you're putting them in a position where it just looks nasty.
Yeah. So what you're saying to maybe put in layman's terms is just because you have the range of motion doesn't mean you necessarily.
And all these like super deep ranges of motion, they're not any more beneficial because the quads actually lose the leverage of moving shit. That's the aim of the game with that toe press. Like we want to get like a super fucking deep range of motion, don't we, with the knee. The quad's going to lose a bit of leverage when we're in that much knee flexion. So
yeah, more isn't always better.
It depends what else is then pushing through it. Like I've said before, like when I do that type of movement, there's a point that I get to that I can feel my hips sort of tilt. And you might feel this yourself if you're doing an exercise, especially like a leg press. You ever feel your bum sort of coming up off the pad? That's just your hips slightly tilting, and you don't necessarily want to be in that type of position. Because that's just putting a lot of stress through your back. Your back's now having to sort of push that back up until you get to a point where you're then focusing back on your legs.
Yeah, that's it. If you haven't got the range of the hip, then the only way it's going to like compensate is through the spine, and that's where your ass starts tucking underneath. Your ass starts coming out the actual seat, and then
you wonder why you've got back problems a week later.
That's it, and your QL is going to be on fucking fire doing that. It's like I've had some of my clients do it, especially on things like pendulums and hack squats, where it's like actual loading, meaning just the weights coming down like vertically pretty much. So it's just being aware of those things, and to be fair, some people can get into those positions and the back might be fine and they can tolerate it. It's like made of fucking steel, but for most people.
You know what, talking about getting into those ranges, did you see that video a couple of weeks ago it came out? What was it? But the guy who was doing, tell you what, maybe was it one of Connor's clients? Either way, when he was coming down, like his knees were literally his fucking ears. It was incredible. When he comes back.
Oh, I've seen it.
Like his fucking legs. It looked like that's his hip dislocated.
Yeah. He had the range to get there.
He had the range to get there. So was it one of your clients? I think it was. Or was it a video you sent me?
Yes.
Doing a leg press where he could literally look like he dislocated his hip to get into a fucking.
It was a black guy, weren't it?
No, it wasn't. It was like
No, I swear there was
maybe edit that
the
out.
black guy's the guy with the bicep curl that you're thinking of.
Oh, he did that backwards, yeah.
It's in the
It's like that. He's like, yeah, fuck
That
that.
was insane.
No, so this guy was on the leg press, and literally his knees were at his fucking ears.
Yeah, it's
pretty
my
much.
client Sam. Mind us
Almost dislocated his
You both
hips.
looked at it because you both talked about it.
Aye.
Yeah.
It was incredible. Now that is going beyond his range. I'm fucking telling you, not a chance.
That's what I was asking you guys. Do you think there's a possibility that actually, he's not exceeding his hip range of motion, but his hip range of motion was like 180 degrees?
Aye.
Yeah, maybe not. I wouldn't load that position up with a lot of fucking.
Well, that's exactly what I said to him. I was like, you go there, yeah. If you and he's done that for a long time. I was like, go there, but maybe not like under a shit ton of load.
Yeah.
Like, you don't need to go there. There's no benefit to going to that
I
point.
think you can just tell if it looks excessive, then don't do it.
Must have some stretchy ligaments as well, because there obviously becomes a point where the ligaments would have to stretch to a certain point. Now, if they're strong, if they will be strong, if they're going to stop him from going round, but that almost looked like he could fucking do a full 360 the way he was.
He's got no ligaments.
No.
They're maybe just incredibly lax, aren't they? Like, that obviously occurs, but it gets to the point of, like, as I say, diminishing returns. The risk versus reward becomes a bit too much for me as a coach who's coaching a client. It becomes a bit too much, and I'm like, well, do I want to put him there under a lot of load? Do I want to encourage that? Because am I going to cause a potential injury down the line? And someone once said, and I don't know where I got this from, but I heard it somewhere. It's a stupid saying, but it's like, if you don't want to crash your car, don't drive near walls. It's as simple as that. So, like, going to these extremes in terms of ranges of motion, it increases the likelihood of injury. Are we getting that much additional benefit from it? In that circumstance, the answer was no, and it, in my opinion, wasn't worth the risk versus reward. But it's going to be a very individualised thing when it comes to that kind of thing. And it's like, again, you'll get clients that have been like gymnasts or things like that. Like some of the ranges of motion is incredible, but like, have they got control out there? Have they got contractile ability out there? What about co-contractions on the other side? Are they still occurring at that point? All that stuff is what's going through my head, and it's like, okay, yeah, you can get there, but doesn't mean we should go there. It doesn't mean that you're going to be in a good position to go there. Like, again, as I say, the co-contraction things is something that most gym goers are never thinking about. So, like, if you're listening to this and like, what the fuck's he on about? I talk about the fact, when your bicep, contracts, we actually need a contraction in the tricep at the same time. We need that equal and the opposite reaction, don't we? So, like, or opposite and equal, I can't remember what way around you're meant to say that. Sorry, Isaac Newton, if you're listening to this. But like,
opposite and equal, isn't it?
Yeah, I think
it has to go the opposite way, but it has to also be equal, otherwise it's just
I don't think you'll be listening.
Yeah, nah,
but
you might.
I'm sure he's dead.
yeah, pretty sure. But so you need that, and like, again, if you're getting to these extremes, you don't know that you've still got that, do you? And again, usually for me, if you're training a client, you're looking at the range of motion, you're saying, well, where can you get to without being forced there? Usually that's enough. But I suppose what we're talking about there was the anomalies. Can't even say that fucking word either. The ones that fall out of that bracket. But it's an interesting one. Have you ever had? I've had a client before where they can overextend their elbow as well, and it can look like kind of bend up the way.
They sort of like twist as well when you get to a certain
I've
point.
seen a few people like that in the gym when they're bench pressing and they really snap into the top half, and you're just like, So and then going through my head, I'm like, fucking. That moment I was on the opposite side now. That's just going. Fuck.
But there's an example where, like, you're not gonna do a bicep curl go all the way to beyond like full extension, are you? Just like
knees as well. Going back to the leg press, snapping in at the top and the knees. Fucking. It's probably more so like the locking out side of things. And there's nothing wrong with locking out in certain situations, but it has to be controlled. But you see some people are just fucking. And that's where you're out of control with that. And
that's what I always liked about that leg extension at the Body Academy, the VR2 Cybex. You could put a stop on that on the top to stop people from overextending.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. But at the same time, downside of that is you're not teaching them to control that range.
No, but if you've then got someone who physically can't, even though you're trying, you're still wanting to get them to a point where that can stop them from going, but you want them even just want a touch and a little pause at that position. And then you can gradually start maybe taking that away to allow them to then go a little bit beyond it.
Yeah, it's like a stabiliser, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good way to start, giving them the kind of tracks to begin with, I suppose. But yeah, like range of motion is a complicated one. It's something I just hear people, we've got to do full range of motion. Well, that's not full range of motion. It's like, well,
depends what it is.
No,
It's different.
totally
Depends
depends.
who and what they've got.
Yeah, I definitely can't do the full extension elbow thing, you know.
Yeah, fuck that.
Nah.
What about like, you know, because it's not really our realm, but it's well, it's not our realm, but it's not stuff we do. Like, do you guys ever worked on range of motion in a specific joint? Because what if you are limited? What are you going to do? Like, if you can't touch the bar off your chest when you're trying to bench press, and you want to get that more range of motion, what can you do? What are you going to do?
Do things like the CSIs, the low level isometrics, things like that. That you don't want to be like, obviously for our job, you don't want to be going into anything like more further than that.
Yeah.
Just,
but like personally, I mean, like just with yourself, you done anything to try and increase ranges at certain joints?
Just the CSIs before training, so like low level isometrics.
Yeah, so just contracting a muscle.
Yeah, contract it, get some more range.
It's another conversation I have quite often with clients is about the fact that, like, because they'll say, "Oh, should I stretch pre-workout?" I'm like, "Well,
no,
probably not. No, static stretching is what we're talking about in particular here, because like static stretching will down-regulate the muscle tissue. So what we mean by that is like, my bicep can produce 100 kilos of force, let's use that as an example, and it's a hard muscle to stretch really, but like if I was to, you know, do a static stretch with that and hold a stretch position, you know, that potentially could lead to that bicep only being able to come up with 90 kilos of force or something, right? So it's down-regulated. It's like getting a soft tissue massage or something like that. It will down-regulate the tissue, and like again, it's probably why it's not a good idea to get soft tissue work before training. So instead, what we're talking about in these low-level isometrics, so like basically we're just talking about getting a contraction in that muscle, that should or could potentially upregulate the muscle tissue, which then potentially gets you more out of it. And I'm a prime example of this, because when it comes to like doing external rotation, if I lie flat on the floor, I'll show clients this from time to time when I'm trying to explain this. If I lie flat on the floor, this arm will just float above the floor, and this one will touch the floor.
Yeah.
But if we do the low level contractions there, and I do 4 seconds 4 times or whatever, then I can get down there. So then I've opened up that range, and then I've got the contractile ability there. And then if I wanted to be able to get there, I would look at strengthening that. Like that's what I would look at doing. I would look at getting into that range and getting stronger there. So
that's it.
That's kind of the way I view it, and that's kind of the way that I talk to my clients about it. But yeah, like it's going to be scenario specific.
Fucking stroke today. Scenario.
Sure, that's just Pepsi action.
Maybe a bit of something else.
Lime's done, yeah.
Yeah, like that's generally the way I'll kind of talk about it. And again, I'm not saying static stretching is bad and has no use. Like I would just rather, if a client's going to do it post workout. But
yeah,
can you get the same adaptation from stretching? Well, I could get this. Same
you get the same range, but it's going to take away how much you can press.
Yeah, well, again, like I could stretch my pec, for example, but if it down-regulates, like we were saying it does, then, and I'm away to go bench press or something, that's probably a pretty fucking terrible idea. So I do like contraction pre-workout rather than anything. And I've even had a couple of clients who maybe played sports or whatever, and I'll say to them, right, like, you know, if you're going to play football, you want to contract your hamstrings, well, maybe like push back against a fence and try and do like almost like a hamstring curl into the fence, for example, or you could do like a glute kick back to get your glutes going, and you know, abduction and things like that. You can potentially ask a friend just to, you know, do it for you as well. Just like, it doesn't need to be a lot. It's just like that little push.
I mean, it's like a 3-4 out of 10, isn't it? How much you can press. You don't. It's a low level. You don't really need to 10 out of 10.
So I'll tell you where I used it when I went for that golf lesson the other week, because the guy said, "Oh, you're not getting much rotation out there." I was like, give me a second. I've done it, and I unlocked it though, and I know I can do that, because I've done it like when I was competing in 2023 backstage. I was posing and that, and I'm stiff getting into these side relax again against the door frame, done the contractions, and here we go. All of a sudden I'm spinning around like it's no bother.
It works.
Yeah, oh, it works. Yeah, definitely. I mean, it doesn't always work as well. Like I've had like situations where I've tried it myself and clients and it's not worked, but in certain situations it can.
I did that when prior to getting on the stage, because again, left side struggle with external rotation, and then I literally just got nicked just to press against my hand, you know, nice and easy, and did 4 sets of that, and I was there on both sides where I could get external rotation.
I could, of course, when you're I never even thought about that.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's a good point. But you know, there will be a structural limit as well. You can't just say, right, I'm going to go contract these muscles, I'll get more. All of a sudden, I can do the splits. Like, you know, it's not as if like it's as clear cut as that. But
it's
like,
what's available to you, because structures should be like it should dictate everything.
Yeah, well that's it. Yeah, like if you're going beyond your structural limits, then it's probably not very good. That like car crash material or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like I mean, it's something you can do. You can see what the joints and the muscles have got to offer, but ultimately they might offer no more. Your range of motion may be your range of motion. Like again, some people will never be able to like do splits, and that's just down the range. And again, that can change over time as well. We can get osteophytes, and we can get all sorts of structural changes from life in general.
Yeah.
So yeah, range of motion. We pretty much covered that.
That's done. Next, the price of coaching. So who the fuck dictates this and what you can charge? Because you see some kids who are just new, they've not even got a PT qualification, they've had no experience, they're going straight in and charging like 300 quid a month and expecting to get that.
Yeah.
And the quality of the service and what they provide the clients and the results are absolutely shocking, but they're charging 300 quid. There's got to be some sort of...
Some people are paying it.
Yeah, I know some people pay it, it's fair enough, and then they don't last long, and there's a big churn.
Clever marketing, I suppose, to be fair. But yeah, I mean, it's a difficult one, because who dictates it? Nobody dictates it.
Exactly.
Really. I mean, there's like averages, which I would say like the average coach is what we've got to be about like £200 a month
Yeah,
now.
that's
Like
it.
I would say now it wasn't. It was definitely lower than that.
Yeah.
But I would say it's definitely around about 200 quid now. But then there are those people that are charging 300 quid, maybe 400 quid. Is there people as much as that? I don't know.
I know people at 400 quid, and then there's these bodybuilding coaches who I say they're decent bodybuilders, but they're charging like £100 a month.
Yeah, some of them, like bodybuilding coaches seem
really
to be
cheap.
Yeah, kind of generally like undercharging. I would
But
say.
it's a terrible service.
Right,
Because
okay.
I know the service which these guys offer, and it's absolutely shit.
I think there's probably the odd one or two out of a set amount that probably are giving you a decent service for that £100 odd. Are they giving you a good enough service? Maybe, maybe not. It depends. If they're bodybuilding coaches and they're trying to break into the lifestyle coaching style of things, it can be maybe more so they'll focus more on the bodybuilding people, because that's what they want. They want people to post about the bodybuilding stuff. So the lifestyle stuff, they might be like, yeah, maybe just drop you in a little bit. I don't know, maybe they've got two categories of what they charge. Lifestyle gets charged a little bit less because there's a little bit less focus on those people who arguably you could say need a bit more focus.
Yeah.
No, definitely.
Well, if you're going to a bodybuilding show,
It depends.
you're going to have the drive to sort of stick to a lot more things, and you just need the support to go through that.
Yeah, that's it, and they just need the plan and the structure and everything, don't you? But with the Gen Pop lifestyle, whatever the fuck you want to call it, they need a little bit more accountability, don't they, and support.
I think it depends. Like bodybuilding clients need a lot of support as well at certain times.
They do at certain times, 100%.
Yeah.
But you're almost, when you look at lifestyles, they need support almost right from the start. Maybe your first week where you're letting them just bed in, but they're almost needing that support right from the start.
Yeah, I like personally, I wouldn't believe like if like so I don't really have any like bodybuilding like competing clients at the minute. But like actually got one to be fair, but like you know I don't see it as a different service really. I see it, it's the same thing. It's like you get a client, you've got a goal, and it's like, what's the best way to get this person there? Like I think, you know, like why would you have and a lot of them do, why would you have a lifestyle and a prep one? It's like, you know, you've got a person, you've got a goal. It's like
It's the same shit, isn't it? Exactly.
Yeah.
No, well, even if it's like High Rocks or some.
Yeah. Well, that's it. It's finding the best way to get that person from A to B and get them the outcome that they're looking for. So, I personally wouldn't see it as any different. I think, you know, we can't tar all bodybuilding coaches with the same brush, because that just wouldn't be fair.
There's some very, very good bodybuilding coaches out there, like very good ones.
And I think what I see from the outside looking in, I don't know, is like reply time seems to be a big thing with them. It's like, I reply to my clients instantly. It's like, well, that's not necessarily good coaching. Like, you know, it's okay, you're on your phone replying quick, okay, but like, I'll be honest, like maybe if someone's like on a prep about a like peak week or competing that weekend, then yes, they probably do need quite a quick reply. But like, you know, most things aren't that urgent, are they? Like most things in reality, like it's not life fucking danger, is it? Like, depends what you've got your clients on.
Sometimes you want them to try and make these decisions themselves as well, because it's the only way they're going to learn.
Maybe it's like peak week or something like that, where they definitely need that attention and like those replies a bit fast. But
yeah, that is different. I understand that.
Yeah.
They seem to pride themselves on the fast reply, but ultimately, like, I mean, for me, coaching is finding a system for someone to thrive and achieve what they want to achieve, and it's like, it doesn't really matter to me if you're Gen Pop. Like, I always find that mad as well. It's like, you know, it's not as if like coaching.
You're a person. You're needing coached on a specific goal, and we're going to get you that. We're going to help you to get that.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, but onto the pricing, like what we're talking about, like, yeah, I think it's a weird one because, like, I mean, it can be life changing. Like, for a start, so, like, you know, people will go to Turkey and spend whatever on their fucking hair, on their teeth, but then they'll be like, oh, coach, I thought it'd be £50 a month. Like, someone's literally said that to me.
That's insane.
I thought it'd be £50 a month,
Yeah.
and then she found someone that was £50 a month, and obviously.
You've seen a couple of those ones, to be fair, that have, like, you have people who have this, like, say, different grades of what the coaching level is. And like, you get £50 a month ones, and it's like a check-in once a month or every 2 weeks or something like that, and it's just the check-in isn't even massive. It's like just maybe a little message. You know what I mean? It's nothing massive. Like, and I don't know. I don't see what people get from that. Like, you're almost 4 weeks behind in any sort of feedback and stuff like that, because you're not then expected. If someone's paying you £50, are you going to want to message them every day? You're going to feel bad for that, and if you do, you're going to get the replies you want, or are they going to wait until a week, 2 weeks before you get a reply? So is that £50 worth it? Whereas you could probably get there a little bit quicker by paying a little bit more, but in the long run, it's actually paid less.
I actually have one client who does check in with me once a month, and long-term client, done PT, done online, and this is almost like...
That's pretty different though, because you've nurtured that client and you've got that trust in that relationship to know that she's going to do, or they're going to do what it is that they need to do to get to where you want. And you're also confident enough that if they're struggling with something, they'll reach out to you because that relationship's already built.
Yeah, but that's it. But it's like a lot of the time I'm just maybe setting targets to save her having to think about it, but like at the same time just reconfirming, no, actually what you're doing is fine. You know, this is fine. You're heading the right way. But like, I mean, I've been coaching her since maybe 2022 or something, and that's like we're still doing form assessments. Like, you know, we're still doing a lot of the same stuff. It's like, because like it's an evolving thing. Like, I'm sure, like, however long you've been training, like, you're still working on form and certain things. You're still being better with things, and it's like there's still always something to work on as well, which is pretty cool. But I just personally, I'm always of the thought process of like, okay, this is coaching. This is what we do, but essentially, as you say, like, there could be different levels of support, but like, essentially, we're just fucking consultants at the end of the day. See, when you're an online coach, you're a consultant, and it's like, well, who dictates the price of that? Well, consultants are fucking expensive.
I think, like, see a consultant for 10 minutes and you're £200 sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. Well, online coaching, I think you can dictate, like, putting your prices up. Results, how many clients you have, how busy you are, etc. And then obviously, the busier you get, the prices you can go up. The results that you get in, like, the more inquiries that you get in, and that warrants, like, you can increase your price, which is fair enough. That's all sort of things.
I think there's a sweet spot though, because like, I think, you know, online coaching and the service it provides, and the market that you're in, the kind of people you're like coaching, like, there's going to be a limit, isn't there? Like, I mean, is anyone going to sustain £500 a month for a coach?
No, exactly.
Probably not. Not for a long period of time anyway, and not long enough to get results. I know there's coaches out there who will like do this, like a certain mentorship that they're in. I think they like to charge up front, and it's like $9.99 for 3 months or something like that.
Oh, we did that one.
No, we didn't do that one. No, we didn't do that one.
There was one that we
it wasn't as bad as that. But like, they did offer they did want a kind of upfront thing, which again, like, I suppose the option of it's not a bad thing for people to have, but it wasn't $9.99. It wasn't £300 a month, was it? But certain one they do like £300 a month sort of thing, or $9.99 up front.
£7
I can't actually remember. I can't remember what I was going to say there. You've ruined my train of thought now. But I'm lost with it now. But I think there is an upper limit, and I think
about different levels of.
No, what I was talking about is if someone's paying £500 a month, or a lot of money every month. Realistically, how long they
can't sustain that for?
Is it
a month?
Yeah,
and if they're not getting the results within that month as well,
is it going to be long enough to get a result? That's the thing. So, like, for us charging it, obviously, like I'm going to be brutally honest, we want it to cost as much as possible, but you know, if we were charging £500 a month, well,
People are not going to stick around.
yeah, they're not going to stick around.
Even if it is the best service.
Yeah, it's not going to be long enough for us to get results. Essentially, you know, you've got it's finding that price where actually it's enough for us to deliver a really good level of service, but at the same time, it's got to sting people a little bit because it can't be too cheap either. Because if it's too cheap, people won't do it.
They won't do it.
Yeah.
I'm only paying.
It's
I'm only paying
it's only
X a
80
month.
quid.
Yeah. It's not. Oh, it doesn't matter. I'll just have that Chinese.
Yeah.
By the way, most people spend more on takeaways than coaching, but anyway.
Like 40 quid a month.
40 quid a month.
Yeah, 40 quid a month. Yeah, a week.
That used to be my Saturdays every weekend. Always a takeaway, and you'd be at least 25 quid at least. That's just for my shit. Never mind the kids and the missus.
Yeah.
And then you'd also be in Tesco's and that, getting some sweets and stuff for after it as well. So before you know it, you 40 quid on absolute shit.
Yeah.
Just for yourself.
So it ends up like £200 a month just for yourself.
And you can get coaching for
There's a coach.
cheaper than that.
Exactly.
And look fucking brilliant.
But
And still enjoy a takeaway every now and again.
I feel that.
but
Keep getting all plugged in there.
yeah, drop us a message.
DM the word results.
We're looking for 5 people. But
It's down to 4 now. Someone's just signed up.
someone's just signed up. Yeah. But like, yeah, it's got to sting. It's got to sting the client because like, if it's too cheap, they're not going to stick to it the same. They're not going to respect it the same. So it's finding that sweet spot between there that is like sustainable for long enough to like get a result. And like, let's be honest, if you're watching this and you're like a potential client, your results aren't going to come in 3 months. They're probably not going to come in 6 months. They're probably not going to come in a year. You're probably going to need a good year at least.
It is a good one. I told you about that guy who inquired me saying, "Oh, I'll just do a month for them, see where we're at." I told you about that, didn't I?
No, but I've heard things like that.
Yeah, so the inquiry was like, "Oh, I'll just do a month for you, see where we're at." I was like, "Well, what's the goal?" It's like, "Oh, yeah, I want to get really lean." I was like, "Well, you're not, from where you are now, you ain't getting lean in 4 weeks, mate."
Yeah, I think the expectations sometimes are a bit unrealistic when people are coming in, and it's like, well, not just a bit, but
like you said, it depends on the goal. Like, you have a lot of people that now at the start of the year after Christmas they'll come in and the chances are they've got a holiday to look towards, and a lot of people leave it too late thinking, like you say, 4 to 8 weeks is enough to get them where they want to be, and realistically you double that. There's 4 months probably needed.
It's like when someone said to me, "I I want to get like looking like you." I was like, "I'll sign up with you for a few months." What to like that? They've got no muscle. I was like, "What?"
Yeah,
I've been training for 10 years.
no bother, mate.
It's
This
like
is a
mad.
decade of work, but you'll do it in 4 months, right? Brilliant.
Yeah, fucking mad. It was like a holiday in the pool. Someone came up to us like, "Oh, how long did it take you to what that for?" It's like, about 10 years I've been training. Like,
Nah,
fuck that.
I've been training longer than 10 years. I've been training 12 years, I want to say.
how long have you actually been
Proper
training?
training. I said proper training 10 years. I mean, I've been in the gym
Yeah,
since
I could
about
put myself in that bracket as well.
18.
I was training for fucking 18 years or whatever. But realistically, proper training, you probably put that down to 3 years for me, really.
I went to a wee school gym and mucked about when I was
Accidentally
16.
trained better at some point, but
Yeah, 16 through to 18, like I just like went to a wee school gym, just fucked about, just like done a circuit of all the machines. And then 18, 19.
which, to be fair, like,
So,
see when
10
you're that
years,
age, right, you're a young boy, you're fucking literally waking up every fucking hour with a heart on, like your testosterone's through the
Handsome, we
roof.
forgot to mention I was handsome,
Handsome as well, yeah. It's not
what
short.
happened?
Not married.
All downhill.
Like, your testosterone's through the roof, you're going to build muscle a little bit quicker at that age when you're younger. It's when you get that little bit older and the longer you leave it, and it's fucking more difficult. Testosterone's fucking through the floor. That is going to be more difficult to build muscle.
Is that Gav playing old man card?
That is the
I've
old
got no
man card.
testosterone.
Oh, he's the Nick Broomhead of this podcast.
There you go. Me and Nick
Welcome
got really
back.
well with this, eh?
Hi, I've seen a few greys between you and Nick earlier.
Aye.
Well, Nick even said, I was like, I'm getting a few greys.
Sorry, we were the best looking cunts in there.
Sorry, I've distracted you.
Yeah, that distracted me. But like, ideally you're wanting someone who is younger to get invested in that fairly quick, and it probably goes back to that affordability thing for a young kid. Unless they're maybe staying at home and they do have a full-time job, there's not a chance they're going to invest in that. And a lot of the time now as well, the current climate we're in, these fuckers literally go on TikTok and think it's the best thing since sliced bread. And as we touched on at the start, you're getting cunts telling you to use fucking resistance bands to train your triceps when you've got a cable stack right next to you. I mean, where'd you win when some fucker's doing that and they're like, yeah, I want to look like that guy, so I'm just going to do what he does.
Yeah.
This fucker didn't get looking like that because he used a fucking resistance band.
I think a good way to get views is literally getting in a good shape, and then
Aye.
make something up.
Yeah, 100%.
Wow, that looks sick. He's doing that.
Aye, he's massive by
Sold.
then. No.
But yeah, it's one of those things. Again, you need to then set the expectations, which is a difficult thing. And sometimes you'll never change someone's mind. They'll do 2-3 months with you, and they'll think, oh, right, I should have got the results that I want by now. And it's like, well, yeah, there's something as an industry we need to like change. And I think it's difficult because you've got to sort of sell the dream, because like we'll get clients that get results in 8 weeks. We run an 8-week coaching program where some people will get results in that time. For most people, it's just a start. Most people, it's just an entry into it.
And you've also got to look at their start point though. For the type of people that are going on to that type of fat loss program, that 8 weeks is enough for them to see a good enough result to where they sort of were to where they are now.
Yeah.
But someone, like I say, who or like that and wants to build muscle, like that's a couple of years to get anywhere near a decent size. Initially, you'll get a nice wee burst and you'll be like, fucking yeah. But then it does slow down.
Yeah.
And I guess for a lot of people then almost drop off the coaching. They see the big results at the start, things slow down, but this guy's not working anymore, like this isn't working for me.
Yeah.
And it's probably the most important time that they actually need a coach, not the first 3 months, it's the rest of the time after that.
I think people need to look at the bigger picture all the time, and it's like, don't just look at, okay, dieting down for your holiday this summer. Let's look at actually physique goals. Where do you want to get to? Okay, well, how long is this actually going to take? Like, I always compare it to like saving, investing, things like that.
Yeah.
It's like, you're not going to start investing money. Well, some people maybe do, but you're not going to invest money and expect an instant return, are you? You're going to say, right, I'm going to invest this in here. In 25 years, it'll grow like this, right? And you're playing the long game. But when it comes to like your body and coaching, things like that, you're like, a couple of months with a coach, I should be ready for Ibiza and that's it. You know, I should be looking like fucking C-Bum in a couple of months. And it's like, it's just not the case. Like, again, we need to look at that bigger picture. We need to say, well, here's where I want to get to. I'll diet down, I'll see what I've got in terms of muscle mass, and then I'm going to spend 2-3 years gaining muscle. And when you say that to people, they're like, 2-3 years of gaining muscle? Like, fucking hell, like, you know, I need to spend that long. And it's like,
if you want muscle,
you probably
if it was that easy, I'd be fucking huge.
Yeah.
I had a client, a past client, and he messaged me saying, reckon we could do this in 12 weeks. I've been coaching for a few months at that point. And it was like some ridiculous transformation. He was like 112 kg and it was about like my height.
Yeah. I just need £500 up front and take this and this.
That probably would have got there. But yeah, anyway, he sent
pay more and you'll get there.
he sent me this fucking picture and I was like, reckon we can get to this and that. I said no. Literally, it was like no. I went, oh, why? It was like, because he's got a lot more muscle than you have. Yeah. And when you diet down, you're gonna notice, fuck, you're fucking skinny. You haven't got a lot of muscle. It's just you can't see it underneath that frame because it's got a lot to lose. And with that lot to lose in 12 weeks, you will lose weight and lose body fat, but you're not going to look like that. There's probably even more to get down to that body fat percentage, and you won't have that body composition.
It brings on to another interesting point of like a lot of people are like, oh, am I losing muscle? It's like, you just didn't really have that much.
Yeah, you just didn't have anything.
Like, that's a common misconception. Like, even guys that are well trained, they're like, oh yeah, I'm dieting down, but I'm losing muscle, so I think I'm going to stop dieting. Like, and it's like, you're
not losing muscle. Like, it's just fucking, you're just losing body fat. So when body fat drops off, you're just dying out more.
Do you not think though, when you diet down, like you start off and you're like maybe like peak bulk or whatever, you probably look alright, look like you've got a decent amount of muscle mass, and then you diet down and you're maybe halfway through a diet.
That's where you look the worst. Halfway through the diet, that's where you look the worst. But then when you get beyond that point and you actually get to where you want to be lean, in some cases you actually look fucking bigger. Yeah, because the definition comes through, so the muscle looks a bit bigger and stuff.
You start going flat at that halfway through point. You're flat as fuck. You've got no glycogen. You're not getting much pumps in the gym. Like shit, I'm really bad. Then give it a few weeks after that. Oh, here we go. The lines are coming through. Getting more vascular.
It's mad. Like my physique actually really comes to life when I get like 72 kilos and kind of downwards from there. Like, but between 72 and like maybe 77, I just look kind of small. Like I don't even really lift that much. It's like right now where I'm at right now, like I probably look the worst. Like you say, you've lost that initial size, but you're not lean enough yet to look like anything. And it's just like, well, you need to go through that period. It's like it's like if you're trying to grow a beard, like you've got to go through that period in between where it like looks kind of shitty.
No,
that's the worst thing ever. Like,
but I wouldn't know.
It's because you can't yet.
I'm still obsessed in that couple.
That's why we're actually down here. I just take my first cycle. Well, that's been a long one. The price of coaching, that's what we talked about there. How much should coaching be? £5 million a month.
Fucking hell. So we'll pay it.
I think the industry standard from what I've seen is probably around 200.
Yeah, it's not 200.
You could pay
Fuck
as
it,
much.
I'm cheap as fuck.
Gav's like, plug.
Yeah, fuck
You
feel
can
that.
you can pay as much as 400. You can probably pay as little as fucking. I've seen people actually advertising
Yeah.
about 50, 80.
I think
Yeah, 80, it was an 80.
I think to push that a little bit further, right? And you're always everybody's always going to ask how much they're paying. You maybe get the odd person who's just like, I don't really care. I'm never going to ask that question because I'm just signing up with you.
Yeah.
But if you can look on someone's page and identify that they can get you in the shape that you're sort of looking for, you're signing up with them because you trust them. So trust when they're telling you it's going to take X amount of time and actually invest in that time to go and do it.
Yeah.
Don't just think because you do the first 3 months, oh, yeah, I'm good, I'll be... No, you'll fuck it up and you'll be back after another month and you'll be like, fuck. Or you won't come back at all, you'll go to someone else and you'll just jump about between that shit. You've almost got to look at what that coach has done, what they've invested in themselves and what they've actually invested in their current client group and what people say about them as a coach.
Yeah, I always say, like, I put in a couple of my posts, I'm like, if you're wondering about coaching and you want to know more about it, ask one of my fucking clients.
Yeah.
I'm posting them up, I'm tagging them. Go ask them. Go
Yeah,
ask
yeah.
them what. And if you're looking at any other coach that isn't any of us free legends, then ask their clients. Like, what harm's that going to do? They're going to tell you the truth, or ask their past clients. The only thing you've got to watch is obviously people will only post success stories. They're not going to post the ones where it didn't go well. And then you always do get that thing where, like, we all get clients that are like, oh, I've never lost weight, it's your fault. It's like, well,
Yeah, for sure, mate. We're there out there cheating on the diet every day. But don't tell us why you're into us.
I seen someone say something that's like, you can tell someone where the gold is and you can give them the shovel, but you can't make them dig. Like, you know, that's...
I think that's where it sort of goes back to the value that a coach can add. Like, knowing obviously what you guys are like, because we've obviously worked together for almost the last year. When you do have a client like that, you sort of tend to, like, you get coaches who will just be like, fuck that, then see you later, and bin them off.
Yeah.
Like, I tend to see that as like the opposite. I'm like, nah, I'm keeping this
Let's
person
dig,
because let's
yeah.
dig, let's make it work. Like, you came to me for something, and to get there we need to do this. And sometimes it is being brutally honest with them. But you're going to get to this stage.
I'm very
where-
good at that.
I know, I've started being like brutally honest with people.
Yeah.
Like, look, you need to sort your shit out.
Yeah, I've got a
And
few
then-
people who've been with me for almost a year, and some of them made really good progress at the start. They slowed down, Christmas coming up and stuff like that, but now you're into a new year, you've got new goals, and you're like, right, this year, to get to this goal, we need to do this. Like, there's no excuses now.
Yeah.
Like, you're telling me you can't do, let's say for the gym for example, for the last 2 months you've not managed to get into the gym. I'll call bullshit on that now moving forward.
Yeah.
So let's plan ahead, let's find out when you can get into the gym, and then it's like let's go and do that. Or if you can't get into the gym,
Yeah, what
I
can
don't
you
know
do?
about it in advance, and let's look at that. If you're
Yeah.
worried about getting in the gym, let's do a session, especially if they live close by.
I think, again, not to start another conversation here, because I know
I know this
go
could
for an
last
hour.
all night to be
I
fair.
know, yeah. What we on an hour? I think someone's turned us off about 20 minutes ago. Most people. So you said moment.
20 minutes ago.
That was it. Yeah.
5 minutes ago. I know.
But just to touch on this briefly, a lot of clients, again, that are maybe struggling like that, they are chasing perfection. They start
Yeah.
with someone like us, and
Too
then it's
difficult.
like, and it's like, okay, we want you to do this, this, and this, and they think because maybe they've not met one target, and they're like, well,
Aye.
what's the point? You know, I'm not going to bother.
That's
I'm
a
not
good
achieving
point.
it.
When you first start up, you're pure buzzing for it, and you're like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to cut out this, I'm never going to eat a bit of chocolate and crisps. Right, how much were you eating beforehand? Every fucking day, 5 tins of fucking full fat sugar Coke, 3 bars of chocolate, 5 bags of crisps.
Yeah.
Did you manage to stop that
Was that
before?
your diet, guys?
It was, yeah. And how have you not managed to stop that before? I don't know, I can't manage. And now because you've got a coach, you're going to
Now
be
you're motivated, yeah.
motivated to do it. No, like gradual steps, baby steps.
Yeah.
Rome wasn't built in a day.
Yeah, and that's it. And like again, that just goes back into that longer term outlook.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, even if you're struggling right now, it's finding out, okay, how do we get around the struggle? Because
Yeah.
like ultimately, it's that kind of growth and journey that's going to take you. And I sound a bit like airy fairy, but like that's what's going to take you forward. Like if you can get past this now, you're going to get past it in the future. And like,
You're going to learn. It's that experience that you
It
need.
is. And some people, like, even looking at the mental side of it, some people mentally cannot diet or be in a dieting phase for, say, longer than 4 weeks. So you may have to have them for 4 weeks.
are you talking about James?
No, I was literally
And
gonna
then
say-
pull them out again for maybe a week in maintenance and then push again.
Yeah,
So you're almost
exactly.
slowing the process down and breaking it down.
Yeah, it's easy doing it like that, but yes, someone said to me, I told you the other day, didn't I? Where it was like, I'm not saying, but it was like, oh, I'm starting to feel hungry now, I can't drop my calories.
Oh right, yeah.
No, it's like, what do we want to achieve out of this?
Yeah, it's like, I mean, you can't go for a shit without wiping your ass. You can't diet without, you can't get lean without getting hungry.
It's
so,
all part of the process.
Yeah, I'm hungry right now, if that helps. Like, because I've fucking.
You didn't have a Subway though.
I didn't have a Subway because I'm in a calorie deficit because I had my oats and fucking
Flexible
protein.
dieting though.
Yeah, very flexible. But, I was going to kind of wrap that up a little bit. Was saying, like, again, with the problem solving side of things, I read once in a book someone said something like, you know, if a problem's a 10 out of 10 right now and you come up against it again, next time it should only be a 8 out of 10, and the next time it should only be a 6 out of 10, and so on and so forth. You know, it should get easier with time. Like,
Depends what the problem is.
Yeah, absolutely. But, like, you know, like in a
A lot
diet,
of problems going through your head right now.
I had a lot of problems the last month.
in a diet,
I think one more of those problems are going to be dead.
But in a dieting sense, you know, the issues you come up against.
I think we should cut that there.
Yeah, that's
it's probably enough, but yeah, that's an hour on the dot. So I think we wrap that up. It's been a bit of a random episode where we've just blabbed on, but like, yeah, we were sat here talking about stuff anyway, and we're like, well, let's fucking put in a podcast.
Yeah.
What we're going to talk about, So yeah, thanks for listening, guys, and thanks for tuning in. You guys that are on YouTube, we'll see you soon.